Morning, guys. Wanted to do a quick one. It's been a little while since I sort of jumped on here last, so I just really wanted to jump in and talk about mental health as an entrepreneur, because ultimately it's something that is getting spoken about a little bit more at the moment, but very, very few people know what it's actually like to go through hardship, depression, self-doubt, which is probably one of the biggest ones, and it's an incredibly lonely process. So realistically, I just kind of wanted to touch on it and say that as an entrepreneur, I firmly believe that you are on your own until you can surround yourself with people that are like-minded, people that understand the same struggles that you're having, people that understand the difficulties and the stress and the worry and the anxiety. Because I think until you get that sort of support network around you, it's always going to feel a lot like you're on your own. That said, a lot of the time, the easiest way through uncertainty is to just absolutely work your ass off. Now, that might sound pretty self-explanatory, but I know back in the early days, I would have a tough time come up, and I'd literally sit there and try and strategize my way out of it, thinking about all the different things that I could do and all the different things that may or may not work. But ultimately, what I learned was that the quickest, the most effective way out of that situation is just to work harder. And obviously, I know there's a lot more sort of going around at the moment with people saying, oh yeah, well, you need to work hard and work smart. Obviously, you need to work smart. I'm not saying just sit there in front of your screen and just type all day. You need to be intelligent and you need to be strategic about what you're doing. But the more you do, it seems to be that the further your problems go away, because ultimately in business, the biggest problems that you'll have will be lack of funds and sort of situational issues which come from being a small business, that you can't compete with some of the bigger companies that can sort of drop their prices to match yours, whereas you can't sort of bring on board the legacy that perhaps they have to help close new clients. So where am I going with this? I think the biggest thing that you can do is, like I say, reach out to fellow entrepreneurs, reach out to people that understand what it is that you're going through, because ultimately this is something that will pass, and being an entrepreneur can be one of the most exciting things you can do with your life. And I think that a lot of people give up before they find what works for them to help them de-stress. A few things that work for me: I like to stay fit. You should definitely take up a sport if you're not sort of actively involved in one already. A team sport if you can. It will help with your fitness whilst you're doing something you're enjoying, and you're socialising with people that are not involved in business as well, which, as much as you should surround yourself with people that are in business, I firmly believe you should surround yourself with people that are not also. It helps you get a little bit of escapism. And on that note, you should find something that takes you away from business and from work completely. My personal hobby is that I'm a massive fan of ice hockey. And for me, when I'm at that game, when I'm there, I shut the world out. It doesn't really matter what's going on. I will shut the world out, and I will not look at my phone for about 2 hours, and I will completely invest myself in the game. And that really helps me get a bit of a fresh start, because it allows your brain to switch off a little bit. And then when you come back to thinking about work again, typically you're a lot more refreshed. And for me, it's kind of a bit of a reset, which is obviously, no matter how busy I am working, I work an awful lot, but no matter how busy I am, I'll always find time to fit in the recreational sort of activities, mainly hockey, mainly sort of playing hockey as well. But really, that's a really big part of it. Staying fit, making sure you're getting your escapism. That could be going to a hockey game, that could be going to a football game, that could be playing FIFA in the evenings, where you're completely sort of invested in what you're doing. But where that comes with a trade-off is that if you do too much of it, it will then start to detract from the work, and you will start to get lazy with the work ethic. So in life, like everything, and in business, it's all a balancing act. So if you can get that balance right, then your mental health will be a much safer place for you to be. I mean, you should, in my personal opinion, take regular breaks away from work. This has a couple of different benefits. The main one is that you can gain a completely new perspective on what you're doing, completely new perspective on business, and it'll actually give you sort of creative ideas. And myself personally, I've recently just started another business, and that came completely from getting outside of my box that I was in and getting into a different lane and seeing a different opportunity. and that business is now doing very well, which is obviously great, but then that then further detracts from the stress that you feel from running a business. So I didn't want to harp on too long, but ultimately I think that the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur is talk to people, learn from people's mistakes, and try and surround yourself with like-minded people. If you're feeling resistance, if people are telling you to stop, and that's sort of putting doubt in the back of your mind, ignore it. Honestly, if you're starting to get people telling you to stop and sort of look at different things to do, if maybe it's getting a bit tough, then you need to surround yourself with different people. It's a very lonely place to be as an entrepreneur, but it will also be one of the most exciting things you'll do in your life. And when you can surround yourself with a team of people that are also feeling the same pressures as you and going through the motions. I mean, we've recently employed here, and it's halving that responsibility. It's sharing those problems. Obviously, ultimately, the buck stops with you as the director, as the owner, as the entrepreneur, but you can let people help you take some of that responsibility off, which frees up your brain power, which means you can strategize more things to take the business forward, which ultimately creates more money, creates more cash flow, and then gives you more opportunity, and your mental health gets better because you can go on nice trips and you can sort of take your personal development forward. That's all for me. Just wanted to jump in and sort of touch on that. I'll try and put some more videos up. I am looking at starting to sort of daily vlog over the next few weeks, but I'm very busy, so I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So any questions you have, feel free to message me on Instagram. It's at @ZachHancox_. I really want to hear from you if you are depressed, if you are struggling with business. My door is always open. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. Ultimately, just talk about it, share it with someone that understands what's going through your mind, understands what you're going through, and I promise you it'll be a lot easier. That's all from me. Cheers, bye.